Hey guys, welcome back to the show. So this week I want to switch gears over to a piece of home technology, and that's the wireless mesh access point. Now, you probably have wireless in your house. Maybe you don't, but if you do, you're probably using some sort of device that's like an all-in-one. And I mean something that takes the connection from your cable internet or your satellite into a box that gives you internet. You probably can plug a few ports into it and gives you wireless. And that's great. It's all-in-one, simple, easy to deploy. Perfect. You likely either have that in your office or a closet or in your living room or someplace near where mostly your family is and you guys use wireless. The downside to these things is while they make it simple to deploy wireless, they're not always great in signal. Maybe in that room they're really, really good, and there are some corner cases where these appliances are just not very good quality. Some of the older ones especially just weren't great. But for the most part, they work really well, except when you start moving to other rooms. You'll usually notice that in some rooms they're great, other rooms they're not. Now, there's a lot of details behind how wireless works, and feel free to post in the comments below if you've got some more questions about how wireless technologies work just in general, what the 2.4 or 2.4 and 5 numbers mean. So we can definitely have an offline conversation on that, or if you're really interested, I can record another video on that sort of technology. For right now, what I want to focus on is that usually your experience with those systems is not great. It's good in one area, but it diminishes relatively rapidly. You'll probably also notice that over time, they tend to not work quite as well. So this type of thing came out a number of years ago in the kind of the enterprise space. And that's referred to as a mesh wireless system. What that means is you have a central access point that sits someplace plugged into the corporate network, and you have multiple other access points that are just being powered up by some sort of power cable. What happens then is those other access points connect to one that you've identified as kind of the mesh AP, kind of a base station. They all connect to him and pull that information over and create basically a blanket set of wireless everywhere. Now you can imagine that can work really, really well for a lot of types of environments, but questions you might have is, but doesn't that diminish over time or distance? And you're absolutely correct. And again, we can talk about that in a different video, but the short version is it is a great set of use cases for the enterprise, but it definitely has a niche. But in the personal space or kind of residential consumer world, oh man, these things can be fantastic for you. So these things basically allow you to have 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever number you need in your home. And since you're not going big distances, and likely at home you don't have critical production workloads like a company would running a website or wherever else, you just want really good wireless in your house. So you can post online, watch videos, watch TV, play educational stuff for your kids, whatever it happens to be, you just want it to work, right? Awesome. So there's a number of them on the market. I happen to have one called Eero, E-E-R-O. Unfortunately, I have it plugged in right over there. I can't unplug it because the little one's in the living room with my wife having dinner tonight. So I need wireless up and running, or else I'd show it to you. But it looks like a little white box, probably about this big, about an inch thick. Every brand looks slightly different, but they're all about the same size. And here's what they do. You take that little box, you plug the network cable coming from your internet connection, whether it's a cable modem or satellite or whatever it is you have, DSL. You take that Ethernet cable or that network cable, you plug it into the back of this device, and you plug it into the wall. That's it. It starts powering on. Then you go onto your mobile phone, Android, iPhone, whatever you have, go to the App Store and you download the Eero app. From there, it's a simple little screen workflow you flip through. They auto-discover each other, and once that happens, the device is set up. It pulls all the information it needs to get you on the internet, and that box is connected. You are golden. At this point, you can start placing these access points, regardless of what brand you have. You can place these access points wherever you need in the house. Now, read the box and the packaging because there are some limitations about distance and how many walls to go through and things like that. Every brand's going to be slightly different than each other, so definitely read the instructions or the specs on every brand you're going to look at. Again, I'll put some notes about those brands in the comments below or in the description field, so you have some reference of where to go look. But just keep in mind that you want to kind of spec out the one that works best for you, but most of these guides and their websites are pretty easy at showing you how this all works and how to deploy it. So don't stress too much if you're not very comfortable with new technology or how to use it. The great part about these is you only need that one internet connection for one of the devices. It just needs to be relatively close to wherever your internet connection is. You plug a connection into the back of this device and plug it into power. That's it. Once you've provisioned it through the app, the mobile app that it has, you're set to go. Then you can place these other apps around, these other APs or wireless APs, multiple. I happen to have 2, one in the living room and one in here, and that's great for our house, but you might need more. And all you do is plug in the power cable to power. That's basically it. As long as it's relatively close to where people might be sitting, doesn't have to be in a perfect position, it'll sync up with this other one. It'll get its own connections. Your mobile app, whatever brand you have, will show that you have multiple access points. You can give it a name about living room or kitchen or wherever it happens to be. So there's a little bit more intelligence behind what's happening here. And that's it. Now you have wireless across the entire house that works really well. From personal experience, now don't take this as, gospel, but for personal experience, we get about 150 megs down from our local provider, and I get that here in my office because it's only about 6 feet away from me. In the living room, which is about 15 feet that way, it's great. They connected just fine, and I get about the same 150 megs down in the living room. Now, I still notice degradation in service at your typical times, first thing in the morning and 6 o'clock in the evening, people getting up and ready for work, people getting home from work. You're going to have that no matter what. That's an internet service problem. It's an internet service function, and those are things you're just going to have to deal with in general. But for the most part, other than those key times where something like service impacting might happen from your provider, this wireless has never had a problem for me. So I would definitely recommend looking into them if you've had any wireless issues, or if you really just want to simplify your life when it comes to deploying residential wireless or stuff for your own personal use. I ditched my previous thing as soon as I got this and realized how easy it was. Now, some context, I work for Cisco professionally. I'm a systems engineer, and I do a lot of design work and other types of things for businesses doing wireless and other types of connectivity. I'm here to tell you that as somebody who does that professionally for businesses, there is something magical in having such an easy solution to deploy where you just plug it in, it starts working, and it gives you what you were looking for right off the bat. I love it. It makes me super happy. I got over the hump years ago of wanting to, hack away and build my own things, and that's just how I have to be. There's lots of people I know who love still doing that, and if you do, awesome. I still think these things can work out really great for everybody, so definitely take a look at a mesh access point. In the description below, I'll put, like I said before, I'll put out a few links for you guys for a few other brands I've come across that seem pretty decent, but check them out yourself. I don't have a specific recommendation for any of them. I've loved the Eero brand that I bought, but definitely look into what you can find. Price is always a thing you need to look at, the quantity you want to have, and brand loyalty. Maybe you have a particular brand you just prefer using. Whatever it is you pick, definitely check out the whole idea of a mesh access point system for your house. Super easy to deploy, and I think you'll really love it. As always, I'd love to see some thumbs up if you guys like the video. Put some comments down below. I'd love to chat with you more. Any ideas for future episodes, just put them in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys real soon. Cheers.